This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 1 hour, 5 minutes, and counting. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 1 hour, 5 minutes, and counting.
And we got the cabin atmosphere master alarm in the cabin. Copy.
This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 1 hour, 5 minutes, and counting. The hatch on the orbiter has been closed now, and the seals checked and the latch checked, and the crew up there should be in the process now of installing the insulation plugs in the insulation. The thermal insulation in that particular area is approximately an inch thick, and the various attach points for the door must be covered to ensure that heat does not penetrate during the ascent and descent phase, primarily the descent phase. And so there are plugs which are made of insulating material, which also have threads, so they may be screwed into the points on the door where those are necessary. One of the next steps will be a pressurization test of the crew compartment and a cabin leak check. We're getting ready to ask the commander, Paul Weitz, to support that. Out in the SRB recovery area, approximately 165 nautical miles east, the recovery ships reported earlier that there was a fishing vessel in the area, which would have been out of the area by now, and they're in the process now of contacting a freighter and advising it to move north of the coordinate where it will be safe. This is not expected to be any problem as far as the launch is concerned. The convoy, which would support the shuttle orbiter should it have to return to the landing facility at the Kennedy Space Center, is presently being positioned to support such a contingency. The convoy is made up of a number of vehicles, including a purge truck, which flows air through the vehicle to ensure that there's no buildup of toxic gases, a cooling vehicle, which provides coolant for the electronic and other systems on board the orbiter. It's a special white room and stair truck used for astronauts to exit the vehicle. The crews are supported by scape-suited personnel who would monitor the vehicle after landing to ensure that no toxic propellants were escaping to endanger the landing support crews. Scape simply means that there's self-contained air-breathing apparatus. Everything going very smoothly in the countdown. Weather has been a concern, and we're waiting for a final weather go, which should come about the T-minus 50 minute point in the countdown. But at the present time, we have a go from the mission team and expect that that is going to stay the same. We have had to shift the once around abort site from White Sands, New Mexico to California because of the weather conditions at White Sands, where we have blowing gypsum and visibility of about 1/2 mile. Everything proceeding on time, looking for a launch at 1:30 p.m. this afternoon of STS-6, the first flight of the orbiter Challenger. The countdown clock at T-minus 1 hour, 1 minute, 25 seconds and counting. This is shuttle launch control. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 55 minutes and counting. We have just completed the L-minus 80-minute weather briefing, and Launch Director Al O'Hara has indicated that we are go for launch at this time. Everything has been going very smoothly in the countdown. At the present time, the crew are getting ready for a cabin pressure check or leak check. The pre-flight calibration of the inertial measurement units has been completed, and we have now started the pre-flight alignment of the inertial measurement units. These units are used to tell the guidance systems on the orbiter where they are in relationship to the launch pad here at the Kennedy Space Center. The 3 IMUs are calibrated during the early part of the terminal countdown and then aligned for liftoff because the Earth's rotation puts errors into the system. The IMUs must be put online as part of the navigation system within about 10 minutes of completing alignment. Once they are free to measure accelerations and attitude changes, the vehicle must be launched within 200 minutes or the alignment process must be repeated. In orbit, the inertial measurement units must be realigned periodically, and this is done with the star tracker, which is mounted on the structure containing the IMUs. The astronauts make use of 2 out of 50 stars located approximately 90 degrees apart. Just a short time ago, the launch countdown clock was adjusted with the correct Greenwich Mean Time because time is a vital part of the navigational system as well. The countdown clock at T-minus 53 minutes, 8 seconds and counting. This is shuttle launch control.
DPS OTC. This DPS. Pick up your activation of STS-6 per the clock. Okay, will do. CDR OTC. CDR, go. You can perform your cabin vent redundancy checks at this time. Go. Cabin vent ISO's closed, talk back closed. Cabin vents open, talk back open. Copy. Thank you.
This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 45 minutes and counting. The S-band telemetry system has been switched to high power and configured to change to transmit and receive signals by radio rather than through wires as is done through most of the countdown. The ground launch sequencer mainline computer programs are activated and are being monitored to prepare to take over the countdown at the T-minus 9-minute point. The first crew module pressurization and leak check is complete. During the past few minutes, the range safety officer verified that the range safety system is ready for launch and is conducting a open loop command network verification test. The flight crew has configured the switch panel and activated the hydraulic auxiliary power unit's water boilers. These are used for cooling of the turbine system, which produces the hydraulic power used to steer the engine on the solid rocket motors. The countdown going very smoothly. T-minus 43 minutes, 55 seconds and counting. This is shuttle launch control.
DPS. Go ahead, DPS. All right, we've completed 480 Able, Baker, Charlie, and Dog. Understand. VASJ-6. Right.
The white room, which is used for entrance by the crew into the orbiter, has now been completely reconfigured for launch and is in the stage where it may be swung back from the orbiter, which occurs at the T-minus 7-minute point in the countdown. Everything in this countdown has been moving along right on schedule or slightly ahead of schedule. We've just passed a point where one of the opportunities for Houston to update the computers. During the countdown, the 5 onboard computers are updated or loaded several times. At the 19.5-hour point, the 4 primary computers all receive the final load from the mass memory unit in the orbiter, and then all 4 are run together and the information in them compared to ensure that they all understand the same things. This is important since they act as a committee during flight and vote among themselves as to whether they are directing the flight to do the proper things. At T-minus 45 minutes, Johnson Space Center had the possibility of sending new information to update them based on any unusual weather conditions the vehicle might fly through. At T-minus 20 minute, another chance occurs to update the computers if necessary, and one of the 4 computers is read out and compared with what should be identical programs contained in the firing room data processing system console. At T-minus 18 minutes, additional opportunity occurs to input any changes. At T-minus 9 minutes, the countdown begins to be controlled by the ground launch sequencer. During this period, the ground launch sequencer sends commands to the onboard flight computers, which then report back when their tasks have been completed. At T-minus 28 seconds, the system is reversed, and the onboard computers take over the final seconds of the countdown, and the ground launch sequencer simply monitors what they have been doing. However, it does have to send a command ordering the start of the main engines. Everything going smoothly, the countdown at T-minus 37 minutes, 45 seconds and counting. This is shuttle launch control. Counting. Commander Paul Weitz has vented the cabin pressure and completed the first phase of the testing of the ability of the cabin to contain its atmosphere during the flight. Safety and security personnel here at the Kennedy Space Center have verified the shuttle landing facility has been cleared and secured in case it's needed for a return to launch site abort. In a return to launch site abort, that would only occur if we had 2 engines on the orbiter go out at a point where the orbiter was not able to actually get into orbit or complete 1 revolution of the Earth to land in California. In a case of that, they would have to turn the orbiter around after the solid rocket boosters have separated, turn the orbiter around and thrust backwards to slow down and then accelerate towards the Kennedy Space Center for a landing. We have just had verification from the launch director that the winds aloft are go for launch. Everything going smoothly as we move towards launch on time at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. The countdown T-minus 26 minutes, 35 seconds and counting. This is shuttle launch control.
PD. Good, EPD. 533 complete. Okay. GLS. OTC GLS. Yes, 530. Yeah, step 530 is complete. Thank you. Flight, CDR, PLT, MS1, MS2, stand by to perform simul air-to-ground voice checks. Welcome.
Challenger, Houston, standing by for simul voice checks. Like to hear from the CDR first.
CDR loud and clear.
Okay, CDR is loud and clear, standing by for PLT.
PLT loud and clear.
Loud and clear, standing by for MS1.
20 seconds and counting. We're just a little less than a minute and a half away from one of our 2 built-in holds remaining in the countdown this afternoon. The primary computer program is presently being transferred to the backup computer in the orbiter to ensure that both systems have the same information. In case of the prime computer failing during flight, the backup would take over control of the shuttle vehicle. The orbiter test conductor has asked Commander Paul Weitz to close the cabin vent valves once again, and we're just about 50 seconds away now from a 10-minute built-in hold. This 10-minute built-in hold is a period during which all the computers in the firing room or the control room are configured with the proper programs for the final portion of the countdown. At the time we come out of the hold, the onboard computer will be changed over to the flight program. Also during this hold, the inertial measurement pre-flight alignment will be complete. The inertial measurement being a part of the navigation system, which is absolutely essential during flight. The countdown at T-minus 20 minutes, 13 seconds and counting, coming up on that built-in hold. Just about 6 seconds away from it.